live going live. We are live. Here we are.
I think that's what that guy meant by the noises.
Oh, that might be it.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Like that.
Got my Gwen and Mercy merch on.
How come we didn't get any Gwen and Mercy merch? It's our podcast too.
That is true.
Yeah.
All right. Gwen and Mercy, if you're listening, send some to Spike and CJ as co-host and producer of the official college baseball program of the process.
Mm-hmm.
It's only appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
I forget where Fritz went. Fritz played 1 year of college baseball, Division II.
That's pretty good.
He was a pitcher. He was good in high school. He did stink in college.
You get injured or he just phase out?
Nah.
He got better.
Didn't have much of a work ethic. Let's see. Bloomsburg.
Cool.
Let's see. What are his stats?
Very respectable.
Yeah.
Does he listen to the podcast?
So Jack used to be a Ricky listener and then has too many of his own podcasts now and radio shows. So he does not listen anymore.
I get that.
Yep. But he was. When I remember interviewing him to hire him. He was a Ricky guy. Maybe he was just lying to get hired.
Oh,
Certainly possible.
It's a great lie.
Well, you remember Jack or Mike.
CJ was lying also, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Mike, I don't know if you remember. Jack was our assistant guy at a lottery party and a live show. Actually,
Yeah.
He was Philip or whatever.
He was Philip.
Mm-hmm.
He was Philip.
For the day.
Philip for the day.
Yeah. Thank God we've both grown up since when he worked with us at the live show at the Electric Factory. I was too intense for him. And he wasn't the same for 2 weeks afterwards.
I remember you talking about that when we were prepping for Live Ricky 5.
Yeah. All right. It's the championship Ricky. Here we go.
Oh, great.
Yeah, well, the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. And brought to you by Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. MortgageCS. Become a MortgageCS Ricky VIP at mortgagecs.com/Ricky. And Kinetic Skateboarding. Get 9.1% off your first order with promo code Dave Silver. On the show today, we are 11 days from free agency and 1 week from the NBA draft. And really, all the rumors as far as the Sixers are pretty quiet, except, of course, for one Sam Decker. And, of course, the Celtics won the NBA championship also. So talk about all that stuff. Kinetic Skateboarding, we love Kinetic. Now, oftentimes I talk about Kinetics, the sneakers that you can get there that you can't get anywhere else, Nikes and New Balance and Vans and Converse. But I think my favorite thing at Kinetic, throw it up there, CJ, is the Kinetic branded stuff. Now, this shirt they do every year and a half or so, the Kinetic Discount Sneakers t-shirt. It's a pretty sweet t-shirt. They have it in 2 different colors, but check out the Kinetic brand stuff and the Nocturnal brand stuff. Go to kineticskateboarding.com. Check out the hoodies, the jackets. Well, maybe you don't want a jacket now. Maybe plan for the winter. It'll be a winter eventually. The t-shirts, that t-shirt right there. Go to kineticskateboarding.com and use code Dave Silver for 9.1% off your first order. 2 things as far as you being a good person. First of all, the Providence Animal Center, which we are supporters of, has this thing they're doing with Jay McClellan, who is an awesome local artist who does dogs. If you've ever been to the White Dog Cafe in Glen Mills or Wayne or the city, all the dog paintings on the walls are Jay. And they're doing this coloring book. Throw it up there, CJ. They're doing this coloring book, dog coloring book, and you can get your dog in the dog coloring book. Jay does the outline with, where to fill in the colors of your dog, and then your dog goes in the coloring book. It's $250 to get your dog in the coloring book. I know Jay, great guy, great artist, has had stuff in Urban Outfitters and Anthropology and all that. Really, really well-known artist. And to get your dog in that coloring book, just go to providenceanimalcenter.com and look for it on there. And it'll be limited. Only so many pages in a coloring book. if you remember. And as I mentioned prior, Mike Torrey, Ricky listener, passed away at the age of 30 due to brain cancer, but his memory lives on. Rebecca, who was his wife, is doing the second annual Mikey D Memorial Golf Outing. It supports her charity, the Small Moments Foundation. Small Moments Foundation takes kids who have had a sibling or a parent die of cancer, gives them a great experience, supports them. The golf outing is September 16th at Five Ponds Golf Club in Warminster. To play in it or to set up a sponsorship, which you can do for as little as, I think, $250, you can sponsor a hole. Go to smallmomentsfoundation.org and go to the events link. Without any further ado, Amos and the Chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
To the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who's back on the West Coast and looks like he's losing his water weight already. That is one Mike Levin.
A lot of water in those bagels.
Yep.
That's for sure. No, good to be back. Good to be back.
Mm-hmm.
With the lighting, with the CJ setup.
Yep. The camera.
Got it all. The wires are here. They missed me.
All the different plugs.
Oh, so many plugs.
Yep.
Happy to be back.
So the Celtics won the NBA championship, and they are champions.
That fucking sucks. That sucks. Awful. Awful timeline. So many bad things have happened. And this is the worst. We've done it. We've found the worst thing to have happened. Because, like, obviously they've pantsed us so many times.
They've circled. They've lapped us in pantsing us.
Oh my god, dude! In so many ways, in so many embarrassing ways. Obviously, simply just beating us in the playoffs
Each time.
In
different ways each time.
In different ways.
Yep.
In various ways of pain and embarrassment. And any sort of trade situation or Sixers take Simmons over Jaylen Brown obviously made sense at the time. Now, many years later, very clearly, more of a development issue than like a pick and prospect issue. But like
we were never even discussing Jaylen Brown.
They obviously have the better player.
Yeah.
Tatum Fultz, obviously, Fultz was not the player that they drafted.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened and changed, and it wasn't just an evaluation situation. But again, the Celtics come out ahead. Lonzo was really the wrong pick there because there was just never a chance that he was going to be a superstar. I like Lonzo very much. Obviously, the injuries now, but anyway.
Would have worked out better than Fultz. Well, I guess he's not even playing now, Lonzo. So
for sure.
What do you know?
And I would like Fultz back. I do think Fultz should come back. Come home, Markel. Sixers signing Horford do a huge deal, and it being a horrendous decision.
You didn't mention with the Tatum Fultz thing that we actually gave them an extra draft pick.
Gave him a pick.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Gave him an extra pick. Here you go. Take the better guy. And he got better, annoyingly. Drew winning a ring there.
Yep.
The trade that started the process.
I mean, Jaden Springer.
Porzingis' agent. Not letting Hinkie pick him. Hiding in the bathroom. Hinkie takes Okafor instead. Stealing Derek White for nothing, which is not a Sixers thing, but just as a player that I liked very much in the draft. And so it just feels personally insulting that he's as good as he is there. And, the one thing that we had through all of this, through all of the conference finals appearances for them and the finals appearances and the successful drafting and developing of players and continuously finding good coaches even after other coaches go away for various reasons. They hadn't won the finals yet. They hadn't won a ring. That was the one thing we had. And now we don't have it. We have nothing. We have fucking nothing. This sucks. This is bad. I feel bad. Everything about it is bad. Where there's an Al Horford celebration happening. Everybody feeling good for him. I don't. I hate him. I hate those fucking guys, man. I hate that team. I hate that jersey. I hate that fucking leprechaun. I hate the city. Fuck Boston. They are better than us in every single way.
Yeah.
How embarrassing. Everybody should feel embarrassed. I certainly do.
Sixers owners should feel embarrassed. Joel should feel embarrassed. I mean, we obviously feel embarrassed. I would, if you'd like to feel not better about it, because I think of the Ricky clan, and I know you hate Boston, Mike O'Connor really hates Boston. I mean, really hates the Celtics. And he wrote a good piece on RightsToRickySanchez.com about the nature of hope. It's not really normally what you'd expect with Mike. As Mike has gotten older, he's become a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? He's been a little more emotive. It's a really good piece.
Oh, not me. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Mike O'Connor. Yeah, you're exactly the same. But Mike, no, just kidding. But Mike O'Connor.
With that.
Mike O'Connor. No. Well, when we hired Mike was a this play does this play does that, this play does this. And he's, changed over the years, as we all do. But I thought it was a really good piece that he wrote today. Yeah, they are better than us in every single way. And they've handled, they have had fucked up things happen to them along the way, as you mentioned. The weird thing with Ime Udoka, whatever it is, we don't know what it is. The Kyrie Irving thing was fucked up. They've only signed one giant free agent the entire time, and the guy broke his leg like a minute into it and was never any good. Gordon Hayward.
Yeah.
They've done it without signing any giant free agents. Well, the one they signed was a total failure. He's not even there anymore. So
weird coach.
I will say, hate the Celtics, hate Boston, love watching their weird coach press conferences.
Entertaining.
Yes.
Because of how rough of a hang he must be.
Yes. Yeah.
Just an absolutely putrid hang. No chilling whatsoever.
No, there is no chill. No. If you haven't seen, I don't know if we've ever played it on the pod. I don't think we have. If you've never seen the one where he gets asked about there being two black coaches in the finals.
We played it.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the dead silence afterwards.
It's so good. I love it so much. All right, so we got a bunch of emails and voicemails about it, and I think they all, bring up different points that are worth addressing. So why don't we do? Wait, where is it? Hang on. There we go. First one. 833-LickFace is the phone number.
Gents, it is currently June 16th, and the finals are still going on. Just stop and think about how long ago it was the Sixers stopped playing. Just think how impossible it seems that Joel Embiid could still be playing basketball now on June 16th. I just find it impossible to think that he could last all the way through a finals run. It's sad but true.
I brought this up a few weeks ago. It is crazy how long. I think it was the night of Game 5, NBA Finals Game 5. I was like, fuck, man, I can't believe the NHL and the NBA playoffs are still going on. It is crazy how long it is and how many games it is and how Joel has looked at the end of every playoffs. And not to be a bummer, but it is crazy to imagine, as long as they have played, to go like 2 more rounds after that. 2 more like excruciating rounds after that. I don't know. Seems crazy to imagine.
Well, maybe we won't have to worry about it.
Well, that's certainly one way to look at it. Okay. How about this one? 833 Lickface.
Hey, fellas. After watching the Celtics last night, it really feels like we're living in the darkest timeline. We're watching the guy who's chubbier than our guy win it last year, and then the rival team that our guy hates more than any team win it this year. So, really don't know what's next. I'm guessing Doc Rivers will probably win a championship next year. Lawrence Fishburne is terrible in that show, but so is Doc. Anyways, everything sucks, but go PG. Bye.
So what do you think, Mike? Doc winning the title next year? I think we're pretty safe on that one, to be honest with you. I wouldn't bet on it, but I guess it could happen. Is there anything worse? Would there be anything worse?
Doc would be pretty bad.
I mean,
I don't think it's impossible. I mean, Giannis is still obviously very good, and that team is quite old. They'll probably do some reshuffling in the offseason if they can.
Mm-hmm.
I guess Jimmy Butler, Miami Heat.
For a title, yes.
For a title?
Yep. They've made finals runs, but no title. Yep.
Everybody has.
Yes.
Everybody has.
Yes.
Everybody has.
Everybody
has.
I cannot believe
833 Lickface got this one.
I cannot believe Jaden Springer, man. I'm dying. He's right here in the frame of everything that's mattered. The hill that this team has climbed, right, over the last 7-8 years, and here's Jaden in front, man.
Guys like the Joker.
He's got his arm around him like he mentored him the whole time. I can't believe it. Oh, my God. I imagine Maxey gets signed here in a minute. Make it stop.
Jaden Springer is a champion, so
good for him, dude.
At least that's good. Here's another one.
I'm sitting here a day after the Celtics win the championship, and I'm thinking about the fact that it all started with us trading Drew Holiday, and then Drew Holiday getting traded twice leads to 2 championships. I'm happy for Drew, but I can't help but feel reflexive on both Boston and Phillies positions through the early 2010s and into 2016, 2017, where we're at now. The Sixers just emptied the clip too many times. And we lost the long view through the years, and Boston just maintained it. And when the right guy came along, like Drew Holiday coming up for trades, the Sixers just had nothing left in the tank. Now, I know I'm converting a lot of process history here, but in short, the constant overturn in the general manager's office and a lack of vision, I think, and everybody taking swings hurt. I don't know. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that non-basketball question. I can't even think of one. I'm just perplexed.
Mike, your thoughts?
I mean, everything hurt. Everything hurt. What? When it doesn't work, then everything is to blame.
Yeah.
They had too many guys named Marcus. Was that the problem? Nothing worked. It didn't work. There was 77 different people in charge. So there's not a unified
doesn't
problem.
Work theory. Yeah.
It's everything went wrong. Everything went wrong except for 2 things. One of them is Tyrese Maxey.
The other one
is
Embiid.
I guess Embiid went from him missing the first 2 seasons. You could say this definitely went right.
Went right, considering where it could have gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say Franklin the dog. Picking Franklin as the mascot. Good job.
Did that go? Oh, it didn't go wrong, I guess, except that he's a Knicks fan. So I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember it.
Yeah. Yes. But the Rights to Ricky Sanchez.
Franklin. It's canon that Franklin is a Knicks fan.
He is. Google it.
The actor or the character?
Actor. Well, not the character.
Okay. Well, sure, that's what I'm saying. It was
fucking crazy.
That doesn't matter.
Yeah. The Rights
as long as the character Franklin is true to what his job is.
That would be a weird fucking thing to have Franklin the character be a Knicks fan.
Sure. Fucking Tom McCarthy's a Mets fan.
Yeah. Well, what could he do? You know? You can't just only hire Phillies fans, I guess. I guess you could. But I love Tom McCarthy, so whatever. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez. And his son, Pat, grew up a Phillies fan and is now doing play-by-play for the Mets.
I feel like that's an easy trade.
No.
Just trade.
No.
Swap.
I don't
It's an
think
easy
either of
pick
them
swap.
want to trade. I don't
Easy
think
swap.
Yeah. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Love Big Barker in this house. Love Big Barker in the Spike Eskin household. Got 2 Big Barkers in the bedroom now. One for Rebel, one for the foster dog, Scotchy, who went through hernia surgery, and she's doing okay. Wearing a little bit of cone action, but doing good. We have her sleeping on the Big Barker because she's had a rough life and now she needs a great life. And that is your job as a dog owner, to give your dog a great life. Great life. One way you can do that is by keeping your dog healthier. And one way you can do that is with a Big Barker dog bed. Those dog beds you see in the pet store, they're shitty. They don't keep your dog healthier. They're like pillows. You don't want to lay your whole body on a pillow. Be nice for a second, but you don't want to sleep on a pillow. You want to sleep on a mattress. And Big Barker is the only dog bed that is a real mattress and supports your dog's joints and staves off the effects of arthritis. Go to bigbarker.com/Ricky, or actually go to the Big Barker link in the description to this pod, or if you're watching this live in the chat there. You can get the Big Barker dog bed. You get a red, white, and blue Big Barker patch. You get processed pup patch. You get a black and white processed pup patch. You get the commemorative t-shirt, and you get stickers. Yes, and you get the Big Barker dog bed. Now, I was telling this to my wife yet. My wife did not know they come tiny, the Big Barker dog beds, the Barker Jr., all the way up to the extra large. If you have like a 150-pound dog, 200-pound dog, you go on the extra large. Rebel sleeps on a large, probably could sleep on a size smaller, but whatever. By the way, all that I'm saying about it staving off arthritis, proven by Penn Vet. They did a study on Big Barker dog beds, 17.6 improvement in joint function, 21.6 reduction in pain severity, a reduction in joint stiffness, all from sleeping on a Big Barker. Been engineered by experts to keep your dog's joints feeling good. As I said, that's your job. Keep your dog feeling good. If there is a 10-year warranty, the foam won't flatten or they'll replace it for free. A 1-year at-home trial. Try it for a full year. If your dog doesn't like it, if you don't like it, they'll give you a full refund and even pay for the shipping. Our friend Jake Fisher just ordered a Big Barker. Just adopted a dog like a week ago. Dog will not lay on it yet. He's got time. He's got time. If the dog will not lay on it, he can get a refund. It is handmade in the USA. Big Barker dog beds.
Woof. The thing. Mm-hmm. This cannot be undone. Is the realization that I've been having over the last few days since the Celtics won a championship. Like it rained, poured like the first blizzard in Southern California history at my wedding, at the wedding weekend. And
blizzard?
So there were people that couldn't.
Or it rained?
There was like a blizzard in the area.
Okay.
That caused roads to be shut down. People like having trouble driving up. We had to push back the rehearsal dinner. We had to change the location of the welcome drinks because people couldn't get there. Like it was just
I wouldn't know.
A lot. You wouldn't know. Nobody would know. CJ wouldn't know. But this is the power went out in the 3 towns around in this area, in this like wine area in Southern California. And so the power went out at the hotel and the backup generator wasn't working. And at that point, I broke. I just like shut down, and I went, and I was like entertaining family, and then the power went out, and I was like, I need to go lay down. And so as I was laying down, just sitting there, the realization of like, this is it. Like this isn't happening again. You can't call like a do-over. We've already spent so much money on this fucking thing and planning and all that stuff. And people are flying in from wherever. And the realization of like, this is it. Like it will always have been a blizzard.
Yes.
On this day. All of our plans of like having a beautiful outdoor wedding, blah, blah, blah. It hadn't rained in like 11 years in this area. All the shit, whatever. It was real. The realization was sinking in that this is unable. This will not be able to change forever. And that is a little bit how I feel about the Celtics having won a championship before the Sixers in this era. No matter what happens.
Even if the Sixers win a title, the Celtics still won a title before the Sixers.
And like punked us for so long, for so many years, sustained success, sustained ownership of the Sixers, of this era of Sixers basketball, of the Embiid era of Sixers basketball. No matter what happens, they will always have this. And maybe if in a world, in a magical world, in a fan fiction world where the Sixers finally break through and Embiid's healthy for fucking 2.5 straight months and they get all the way there and they win a championship, that will be so good that it won't have mattered that the Celtics won a championship. Maybe. I don't know that. I don't know that will feel as good. I don't know that I won't have felt like, yeah, they fucking did it first with like all of having stolen all of our guys, having won so many of those trades.
Yeah,
having made us look like fucking idiot assholes for so long. I'm not saying that I think that it won't matter. I'm saying I don't know.
Right.
Because I can't imagine it. I can't imagine the Sixers actually winning 4 straight series.
I can't imagine winning 2 straight series, to be quite honest with you.
2 straight. Could you imagine?
Yeah.
You can't even call it, what that's even straight at all. 1 straight is just 1.
Yes.
So to do things in 2 straight ways would be new. Using the word straight in a positive way would be the first time.
This came from Matt. Rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. Hey, Ricky crew. It feels like the national talking point after the Celtics championship is praise for them not getting impatient and blowing up the Tatum-Brown combo. Quote, like so many teams are in a rush to do. While there definitely were questions about whether Tatum and Brown could play together on a championship team, I do not understand the generalization about so many teams deciding to blow up their young cores. The only example I can think of is OKC trading Harden, but that still left the Thunder with 2 future MVPs in their 20s. Has any other team traded 20-something stars and gone on to regret it, or is this a typical national media hyperbole? You know, it's actually a very good point in that you hear it all the time, but it actually doesn't happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just very rare that they have 2 guys that good, that young, for that long.
Yeah.
Right? Where some guy could be like, you know, it could be like, I mean, the first thing that came to mind is like, you know, Dame and LaMarcus Aldridge when Dame was young. Like there's such a different time period of like the torch being passed. And like Ant versus Karl Anthony Towns or whatever, and Gobert. Like there's a different timeline, age situation happening there. LeBron and Kyrie, you know?
Yeah.
It's rare that guys are that good at such a similar age. The example of it, and I love that. I mean, if I was a Celtics fan, I would feel so validated by this. I would love that they didn't break up Tatum and Brown and were reactionary to the sort of like mindless, talk show ways of saying like just break them up because like whose team is it? It has to be one of them. Like that just doesn't. The fact that they worked through that and won a championship and all those people just look stupid for saying that shit, I think is good for them. I feel nothing but hatred, but if I were them, I'd be saying good, whatever. The thing that I wanted it to be is that's how I felt about Joel and Ben, and like the Ben got so much worse, and then the relationship on the personal level was fracturing. It was never great, and then was getting worse. And I wanted it to be that. I wanted that to be this. What's happening with Jalen and Jason, and succeeding at this level, and like trusting each other, and finding each other, and passing each other more, all this stuff, and sacrificing for each other. I wanted that with Joel and Ben, but their personalities never mesh that way. It's both of their faults. It's the organization's fault. It's everybody's fault. And Ben
it's mostly Ben's fault.
Sure. And the thing that's his fault is that he got wildly worse. Wildly worse in so many ways. And now he's not healthy enough to play and blah, 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 all that other stuff. But he's still posting like he is.
Yeah.
And so that's... I think that there is, in the modern media ecosystem, like so much... if things don't work so quickly at the highest possible level, then there is that you got to break them up. Like it's the fact that it's Boston, the fact that they've had such success. Like, I don't think there's gonna if Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner don't win a championship in 2 years, they're not going to be calls for them to break it up, because A, it's a different media market in Orlando, but also because like they will not be probably, although I love my Magic, getting to conference finals that early in their career. So watching Tatum and Brown not get to the highest mountain, but getting pretty close many, many years in a row, makes them more open, more vulnerable to those kinds of criticisms in a way that, you know, I'm just picking random players, but like two similar young guys at that level are not going to get. And it's the fact that the wild success that they were having at such a young age ended up creating that kind of criticism, because people watch the conference finals or the finals and they say like, those guys can't win the big one until they do. And they did. And good for Boston. If I can divorce myself from my rage and my hatred, well, I'll give myself 10 seconds. Good for Boston for not
breaking it up.
Breaking it up for really no reason at all.
Matt's non-basketball question. Johan Rojas may be terrible at the plate and have been sent down to the minors, but I just can't quit him. I haven't been this in on a probably bad Phillies player since John Mayberry Jr. Do you two have any subpar Phillies who you irrationally believed in?
Oh, a million. I've been following the Phil's minor league system since like 2005. I have a million. I still believe in Stanford Michael Taylor. It broke my heart when Don Brown fell apart.
Yeah.
Broke my goddamn heart.
It was a great month with Don Brown.
It was a great month. I love
Filippo,
Johan Rojas.
I love Filippo Mont, by the way.
Yeah, Filippo Mont.
They had great stuff. And
Tyson Gillies also came over in that trade.
And I did love Wes Chamberlain. And he was a Philly, but I always thought he was better than he actually was. I loved Wes Chamberlain.
That's before my time.
It is? Yeah, I guess it is. Wes Chamberlain is.
There's a million of them. But I love Rojas. I don't think it's bad that they sent him down for a month, especially while JT is out. Go down, get some consistent at-bats, work out some stuff.
Stop trying to hit a fucking home run every time you're fucking up.
Come back up. Be ready to contribute. They need them. The
bunt.
I love platoons. I think platoons are good. I think they are strong and good. But
I don't love two platoons.
What?
I don't love two platoons in the outfield.
I like them if they're both good, but one of the four guys being good and the other three being like sub major league players is probably not going to be good. So to me, it's get Rojas confident, get him regular at bats, tweak some things at a lower level, let him come back up and have a shot, and also be ready to make a trade. And also, for the love of fucking God, stop playing Nick Castellanos every day. He just can't play every day.
Well, but there's no one to
anybody
play
else.
there.
Just give him a fucking day off.
It's the other guys.
Give him a goddamn day off.
But it's the other guys. You're going to get Whit Merrifield or some shit.
Merrifield sucks. I want to churn through those guys. But also, Castellanos should not be fucking playing every goddamn day.
Can I tell you?
Even the walk-off last night was a fucking pop-up that landed. It's like
Can I tell you? Castellanos' numbers are better than fucking Merrifield and fucking Pache and
of course. Those aren't barely NBA baseball
but they play
players.
all the time. They play every game. That's what I'm saying. All right, wait, whatever. We've gotten requests to not ruin the Phillies.
Give him a goddamn week off from time to time.
He doesn't want a week off.
2 days off. He doesn't want to. Well, he's got to hit better than 212.
Well, he's going for the Cal Ripken streak. So
what a huge one. The worst player to ever play 162 games in a season on one of the best teams of all time.
Wait, not Cal Ripken. You're talking about the Phillies. Oh yeah. I don't know if this Phillies team is one of the best of all time, but your point stands.
Record-wise, they were on pace for that.
They were
for a time. Maybe not anymore now.
The Rights. There's your Phillies segment.
We
got a couple. I think when AU wrote a Phillies article, we got requests. They were like, "You guys are going to fucking put the process stink on the Phillies. Do not talk about the Phillies. Don't fuck it up." And the guy that says Witt and Pache don't play every game, one of them plays fucking every game.
No, they're both righties.
It's one of them does. It's Dahl and Witt in fucking left field, and it is Marsh and Pache in center field. That's who's there. Watch the game.
If it's a righty on the mound, it would be Marsh and Dahl.
Yes, but I'm saying those are the 4 guys. Like
No,
one
I
of
know.
them's always.
I know 3 of them.
fucking-
Marsh
yeah.
is great. I would like him to get better at left-handed pitching. I don't mind
Yeah.
giving him a shot at that, but with everybody hurt, it's
Yeah.
hard to do that.
The Rights
gotta
to
get
Ricky.
better.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by MortgageCS. MortgageCS. If you're going to go buy a house and you need a mortgage, I'm just telling you, call MortgageCS. Now, they're a mortgage broker. They're not a lender, so they're not going to give you the money, but they go to the places to get the money for you. Huge difference between them and when you Google a mortgage place or whatever. When you Google a mortgage place, one of those big places, first of all, they're not independent. So they do have deals with banks that you don't know about. I'm sure you could find it in some disclosure statement somewhere, but you're never going to find it. So you're not always sure that the loan that they're getting you, which bank they're going to, is best for you, because it might just be best for them. The second thing those places do is go ahead, put your email address in there and tell me if you ever stop receiving emails from them. Never. For the rest of your life, they're going to fucking bother the shit out of you. And they're too big to really give you the attention that you need. MortgageCS changes all those things. They're going to give you the attention that you need. They're going to be there when you need them to be there, morning, noon, night. They're going to, and they're actually going to help you get the house. It's a very competitive market. So having a mortgage broker like MortgageCS can actually help get you the house. First of all, they have a great reputation, which helps with listing agents. Second of all, they'll even call the listing agent for you and assure them that the loan is going to clear. Also, they're going to make sure all the paperwork's done on time, which other places don't always do, especially in a market like this. Everything is super important. MortgageCS makes all of those things happen for you. Here's the thing, too. You can get them whenever you need them. I'm going to give you the top of the food chain guy's phone number. Ben is the CEO. Here's his cell phone number, 267-391-7425. 267-391-7425. If you're listening right now, if you're live, text Ben at 267-391-7425 and ask him which outfielder the Phillies should trade for. Do it right now. Do it. I'm waiting. All right, go ahead. Whoever you're working with after you talk to Ben will be available for you for a pre-qualification letter, Tuesday night at 9:00, Saturday morning, whenever you need them. And every person who has worked with MortgageCS, who is a listener to the Ricky, who has reached out to us, has said the experience has been aces. Go to mortgagecs.com/Ricky to schedule a consultation. That's mortgagecs.com/Ricky, or call or text Ben, their CEO, at 267-391-7425. If you don't believe me, Google it, look at all the reviews, like all 5-star reviews. So if I'm lying, all those people aren't lying too. That'd be a lot of lying. This advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. MortgageCS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. Company NMLS 1464766. Visit mortgagecs.com/Ricky for more information. And the last thing on Boston, I just want to say, and I'm not going to make you listen to it, but in May of 2018, I said we were fucked compared to the Celtics, and we have been fucked compared to the Celtics. And 6 months earlier, you're just going to have to give me this one. Six months.
You finish, please.
6 months earlier, in December of 2017, we had a giant argument about Brian Colangelo when I said he was doing a bad job. And I said that we are not looking to the future. We're doing everything from now, and we're wasting assets. And this Celtics thing has been coming and coming and coming, and they had so many chances to pivot out of it and save us, and they didn't. And I'm just saying, it's been apparent that they've been better than us for a long time. And luckily, we've been able to fucking hold on to this thing that they haven't won a championship. But what a fucking nail in the coffin. When you look at all of their accomplishments over the last 7 years compared to us, it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. That's it.
Nobody's more embarrassed than me.
Yep.
In the
Fair.
world.
Fair.
And absolutely, unquestionably, a better run organization, no matter which GM, ownership, leadership, collaborative was in charge at any point. The reason I disagreed with the idea that we were fucked then when you said it was that, and why I don't think this is necessarily proof of you having been right now that they won a championship, is that there were so many opportunities from when you said that to now for the Sixers to make better decisions and the Celtics to make bad decisions. And some of the Celtics decisions that the Celtics did make were bad. Not everything worked out. A lot of things went wrong, but they reset and pivoted and found other ways to succeed. And the Sixers kept making mistakes. That's why it was just like you had a level of fatalism at that point that I did not think was warranted because of how early we were in that situation. You have been proven to be correct because the Sixers fucking sucked but in many ways with different leaderships in charge over the course of that time. But I don't know that if the But
I want to point out just one thing. One of the things I said there was that my point was also not just because they had Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and blah, 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 but because they were a better run. Because they had the time, they had Brad Stevens, who was they had a better coach, they had better GM, and they had a more cohesive structure, which, yeah.
I'm saying, and with all of that, any iteration, and after you said that so that was during Colangelo. So there was the post-Colangelo.
It was right after Colangelo. So the fucked thing happened in December of 17, and then this conversation.
So before Burnergate.
No. I'm sorry. The Colangelo is doing a bad job was pre-Burnergate, but then May 19th, 2018, I believe, is post-Burnergate. Because it was after we had lost to the
No, we just had the 5-year anniversary.
Oh no, you're right. Yeah, it was right before Burnergate.
There's been so many different people in charge at that point, and all of them have either done a bad job or definitely not a good enough job, whether it's various coaches or GMs or Embiid running mates or whatever. And they could have succeeded in a better way, and they just haven't. They just haven't. So this sucks. This is irrevocably bad, and several miracles need to happen for the Sixers to at least buy back some of the embarrassment that we have felt and currently feel over the last many years. But I still think there were so many times between you saying that and now that the Sixers could have done a better job. They were not doomed to be fucked. They chose to be fucked by their bad process and bad decision making.
That sounds like a t-shirt to me. They chose to be fucked. So some free agency updates, and this isn't a free agency update per se, but Paul George on Podcast P was talking about the Clippers fans are on one today, I think, because he said this, but they already hated him, and I think they hate him now. But he said this about what went wrong after the Harden trade.
Like, how difficult was it at the time when y'all had to incorporate James Harden on the team when it was already you, Kawhi, Russ? I mean, did y'all feel connected as a team or something?
Yeah, I mean, the most difficult part about it was, we started the year off rolling. We started the year off hot. Everybody was playing well. There was the energy there that it was kind of like first time of us all being healthy with Russ now. Like it was like the emergence of what it's like being with Russ now, with myself healthy, Kawhi healthy, and Russ full time here. So it was kind of like a fresh start of what we thought could work. And then we traded to get James. And it's not James' fault of why I think we struggled, but I think the lost part of that was that we lost Rocco, we lost Nico.
All right.
Those was our glue guys. Like that was our defenders. And we play small, so they had the length to help us play small.
Right.
So again, it had nothing to do with losing or grabbing James. It was more so losing those guys, KJ Martin as well. Like that was our energy, our young legs. So I think that's kind of where, you get to late in the year and, we just weren't as good as we could have been. I think losing those guys kind of hurt us, you know what I mean? Because like Rocco was huge for us. Nico was huge for us. They would go get rebounds. They would block shots. They would, rotate. They were defensive guys. So you plug those guys around myself, Kawhi, Russ, they did a lot of the dirty work. And now you grab James, who's a super super talented offensively.
Exactly.
Now myself, Kawhi, like we become the dirty guys, and now we have to score too. And it was just, I think a lot that we were trying to balance and manage at that point. But again, had nothing to do with James. James, I thought, was awesome for us. One of the best passers I played with, one of the best playmakers. The way he just sees the floor and can take care of the ball, not even just the passes he make, but just his ball security.
So, look, I don't want to say it had anything to do with James, but the guys we traded away, I loved playing with so much and did everything great. And they're gone and James is here and we're worse, but really has nothing to do with James. Has to do with the players we traded.
That sounds like a guy that just looked at the Sixers roster.
Yeah, yes.
Noticed that he did not mention Marcus Morris.
He didn't.
Who is not on the Sixers roster.
Right.
He only mentioned three
guys on the Sixers roster
that are still on the Sixers roster in Covington, Nico Batum, and
we're
Martin,
on the Sixers roster.
Potentially some of whom might return. I mean, he's right. Like, look, I don't disagree with that. Like, the idea that they had too many, like, offensive-minded stars that need the ball in their hands. Like, it was a poorly built team. And PG is the guy that had to glue it all together as the only guy that could do everything on a basketball court. As, like, defend, play on ball, play off ball. Kawhi doesn't really play off ball. Harden doesn't defend. Russ doesn't really do anything anymore. So it was Paul's job to do everything. And after the fucking very upset things I was saying about the Sixers and Celtics, the fact that I can't fucking pick my own self up by my hair like a wrestler.
Oh, okay.
And still say, like, but if we get Paul George, that could be good. Like, what a fucking insane asshole I am.
Yeah.
To still want and think and be able to convince myself that it could be possible. Could go bad. Absolutely. Paul George, old, injured, probably doesn't have that dog in him. But, like, for a guy to walk in here that Embiid has said he wanted, making the eyes on national television, it could be good. It could be good. And at this point, like, it could be good is
I'll take
the
it.
best possible thing. Like, Tobias was never it could be good. Tobias, like, it was always like, it might not be that bad.
Yes.
But it was never could be good.
Yeah. Look, I would not bet on them getting Paul George, but it would be, of all the scenarios that we could play ourselves, it is a pretty good scenario.
Dude, they keep not extending him.
Yeah.
They continue to not extend him. And we are days away. Like, the season is over. It could be
11 days.
The offer could be happening. It could have happened this whole time. That it's not if it's not happening, then I'm still believing that it's a real possibility.
Now, one thing that is happening, as John Clark reports, quote, I'm told the Sixers held a free agent workout and tryout for former first-round pick of Daryl Morey in Houston, Sam Decker.
Well, in addition to...
Oh, yeah.
Former Sixer Tony Bradley.
Tony Bradley, right.
Jarrett Culver, who I believed in and was wrong about. And he was only still like 25 or something. And Stanley Johnson, who I still love.
I loved in the draft, was a big YouTube big board guy for me.
Dude,
Stanley
he's fucking massive.
Yeah.
Just like...
He's not good.
As far as probably not that good, but like the big body, strong athlete. If you can get him having like a decent year from three, like, could absolutely be your 8th or 9th guy for the minimum. I would love that. Stanley Johnson, I would love. Absolutely. Jared Culver, the shot really looks pretty busted at the NBA level, man. But maybe he's put some work in. He was out of the league for a year. Maybe he's just been in the lab working on his shot. Maybe he's good now.
He's probably been in the lab.
Smart player, long. They got to get some of those. Some of those guys got to hit, and I like them working them out. So let's see it.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, there's been a change in UFC 303. I know you're a big UFC guy.
Yeah.
UFC 303 coming...
303 feels just like yesterday. It was 202.
Right, yes. And it is coming June 29th the official sports betting partner of UFC is DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm going to ask you I'm going to give you some fights, and you're going to give me what you think the best pick is, all right? Long Zhao versus Chang Ho Lee. Chang Ho Lee minus 105 favorite. Long Zhao minus 115 favorite. Your thoughts?
Am I picking a line?
I don't know. Just pick the guy, Long Zhao or Chang Ho Lee.
Tie.
Okay. How about...
do they tie?
I don't think so. I guess you could have a draw. CJ, do you know?
CJ gives a half thumbs up and a shrug.
I completely could be wrong here. I think at a certain level maybe, but like the higher cards maybe not.
Tom says you can draw. I trust him.
I
don't think they're going to draw. I think they're going to tie.
Okay. How about Shara Magomedov versus Antonio Trocoli?
Broccoli.
Okay. And then finally, Magomed Gaji Yasalov versus Brendan Ribeiro.
Brendan Ribeiro, I definitely went to camp with, so I'm going to go Brendan Ribeiro.
Ooh, he's plus 250. Just get some juice on that one.
Yeah,
and finally, Johnny Walker versus Volkan Ozedmir.
Okay, I did go to high school with a Johnny Walker, so I'm going to go Johnny.
Okay.
The only close. That wasn't his last name. It sounded like that, but people called him that, and that was fine.
The only place you got to bet UFC 303 and bet anything is DraftKings Sportsbook. Great app. We love it. Put money in, goes in, take money out, comes out, just the way it's supposed to work. Safe, secure, and also easy to use. And if you're new to DraftKings, new customers bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets instantly. So if you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and bet on Broccoli or Johnny Walker, use code RTRS. That's code RTRS for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5.
Get the ties.
Get that big fight feel. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Got to be 21. See show notes for details. There was going to be a fight in UFC 303 where one of the guys you would have heard of, but one of them got hurt, so that's canceled. So, but they're still having 303.
A game when you're in Vegas and there's a game you don't care about, and you just go to a sports book and bet the under.
Yep.
Pretty fun.
Is it?
In a stupid way, yeah. Just rooting for all misses. Run out the clock. Take some time. Take time. That'd be better. That'd be me betting on a tie and fighting.
Ike has become a very big bettor. Like so much so that I get worried about him every once in a while.
Oh boy.
We were at the Phillies game today, and like a half an hour before the game, he looks at me and he goes very intently with his phone, "What do you think of Ranger today?" And I'm like, no. And then he was like, "What about the Padres pitcher?" And I was like, "Knuckleballer. That means Phillies are going to be fucked up for a week afterwards. So bet against the Phillies next game." So I don't know what he did.
God,
so Pascal Siakam is staying in Indiana. That is per Psycho Woj. And there does seem to be a little bit of iffiness around one OG or Og, as his friends call him, Anunoby. Here is what was said about Og. Is this Windy? Is that who we're talking about here now? No, it's not. Yeah, Windy.
Know that last summer they did actually try to trade for him, at least had discussions about trying to trade for him. It was the extension part that really was the end of the conversation, but they have been interested in Paul George, and he would be
by the way, another player who could, in theory, negotiate and get a contract done within hours of the end of the finals is OG Anunoby.
Yep.
Let's keep an eye on that. Most people believe that Anunoby will stay with New York, but there have been indications that he may want to test the market because he's not thrilled with what the Knicks might do.
I've heard that internally as well.
Know that.
So, there's obviously the CAA connection. Leon Rose runs the Knicks. OG Anunoby is CAA. Everyone thought he was going to stay there. I think a lot of this is just trying to get as much as they can out of the Knicks. I would
Jay
just
Williams, who is the guy, the voice at the end, he's heard that internally as well. He is also a CAA client.
Oh, is he?
What does internally mean? Does internally mean in your ears?
From OG?
In your ears, or does it mean like at the agency meetings from my agents as well? Who's that first guy?
The guy on the right, the big like talk show looking white guy? Yeah, I don't know. Looks like a football player. Yeah, I don't know.
I've seen that guy before in my life.
would not give a max contract to OG Anunoby.
As a Sixers or the Knicks?
As a Sixer.
Would you do it if you were the Knicks?
I actually would not do it if I was the Knicks. Here's the thing.
Would you risk losing him for nothing?
Yes.
They were really, really good with him last year.
When you look, two things about him. Well, let's do from a Sixers perspective. They do need, he would fit, obviously. Like Mikal Bridges, he is the sort of player that can fit on literally every single team.
Yeah.
So he would obviously fit. But they do need somebody to carry offense when Joel is not there. They do need, that is not OG Anunoby. OG Anunoby to me sounds like final piece on a team, not major piece on a team, if that makes any sense. Sort of like when the Bucks added Drew Holiday. The other thing is, he is fucking hurt all the time. All the time. He was hurt half the time he was with the Knicks. He's hurt all the time. And if you're the Knicks, so that's from a Sixers perspective. I just don't think he's what they need. They could do, obviously he'd be fine. It'd make them better. But you start giving fucking $50 million a year to OG Anunoby. We just had a guy who we gave a max contract to who never made an all-star team, and also we were paying a max contract to. So if you're the Knicks, it gets pretty complicated. I think the only way I'm the Knicks, if I give it to him, is if I can swing a trade this offseason for another top-line guy. And if you can do them both at once. Because once you start paying Brunson giant money and OG giant money, it becomes very, very difficult for them to maneuver around and get another guy. So
I don't disagree. They were really, really good with him there. And to let him walk for nothing after what you traded for him, that would be pretty damaging. I agree on the Sixers end that I would not give OG Anunoby a max contract. I would make it seem like I would if I'm Daryl, so that the Knicks have to pay as much as possible so that they don't have more cap space to continue to improve. I think that is good Eastern Conference gamesmanship of the Sixers to do.
Mm-hmm.
I would not expect them to actually give OG that kind of a contract. It'd be hard to lose them for nothing. They're really, really, really great team with them there, and they definitely need to get Brunson some help offensively. I think I would use Randall's contract to do that in a trade.
Yeah,
and I would keep paying OG Anunoby to be a very integral but not top two piece on my team. If you're overpaying, fine, but like,
I do think he'll stay on the Knicks, by the way. I don't think he's going anywhere. If I had a bet, I would bet that OG will be on the Knicks next year. Would be my bet.
Yeah, I agree.
And then we got this free agency call to 833 Lickface.
Hey, Spikel and Michael. Trying to emotionally prepare for the off season and next season, and in particular, prepare for the idea that we might sign Tobias Harris. He probably won't play for us long term, but we might sign him just to trade him in a deal. I think there's also a chance that Daryl signs him just so we have a tradable contract. And he might move him by the trade deadline. Am I being an alarmist?
Yes.
Can anyone save us?
No.
So.
I don't think that's possible.
Not a chance. There's so many guys on this team.
They could just pay.
They could pay.
Yeah.
Tobias doesn't want to be here. I think Tobias would rather play in Barcelona than play in Philadelphia this year. I think he would rather see the world. I don't think that nobody in the building, maybe some security guys that Tobias is nice to probably, but like as far as decision makers, nobody wants Tobias. Tobias doesn't want to be here. Everybody is moving on after the longest 6 years of anybody's life. And if they want to give some guys money to then trade, Covington is here, Batum is here, Lowry, KJ Martin, Melton, we'll see. Like, there's plenty of... No, it's not going to be Tobias.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be Tobias.
It cannot be.
There's a better chance we sign James Harden than Tobias.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
It's terrifying, isn't it? Because it's true. Yeah. And finally, so the draft is next week.
Just some new guys. Like Daryl, you've never won a championship before.
Nope.
Never been to a championship before. Stop getting the old guys. Get some new guys.
I don't think he wants to sign.
I know, but like we've just been. It's been enough. It's been enough of the old guy. He's had so many of his old players.
But Tobias isn't even his player.
No, I wasn't even saying that. I'm just I'm stepping away from the Tobias conversation and just like how many of the guys. This is I think in MOC's Daryl article of just like how many of his old players he just brought back. It's just like, God, try some new ones, my man. I know you're getting to the time in your life when you don't want to make new friends, but you don't have to be friends with them. They just have to play for you. So let's spread it out. Let's spread the love. Different guys this time probably. Let's see it.
So I thought I'd ask you a draft question as the draft is next week.
If Donatas Motiejunas plays for the Sixers next year, I'm going to lose my mind, Daryl.
Where is he? Wait, isn't he dead?
No, he's not dead.
Okay.
He's just old.
Are you sure?
If he's dead.
Motiejunas didn't die?
He's 33.
Okay.
Still younger than me. Feels older than me, though.
Yes.
Feels older than me.
But he's not. Here is a draft question to end the pod. Rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. This came from Brad. I sent this after the Jaden Springer trade, but it was never read. I think it's a topic worth discussion. I'd like to hear your thoughts. You don't need to shame me, Brad. I'm not reading your question. I thought this for a long time, but the Jaden Springer trade has confirmed what I knew to be true. Everyone who views 19 as being positive in a draft prospect and being 23 as a negative is wrong. I understand the idea that a 19-year-old will develop more and could improve more than the 23-year-old, but unless that player's ceiling is a top 20 NBA player, which Springer's never was, then getting the player that can help you right now is far more valuable than a hope that a 19-year-old will develop into an NBA rotation player. Shouldn't the thought be when drafting which can contribute most in the 4 years I have him under a rookie contract? And then the second question, while we're on the topic of draft prospects, how does Mike have an opinion about every basketball player in the world? He has interests outside of basketball and is now married. Sometimes he even has a job. Where does the time come from to watch all of this college basketball and form serious opinions about every player? It's made no sense to me for years, and I need an explanation.
Well, sometimes I also read stuff and I look at statistics and see if I feel it, and I try to watch a lot of interesting college players so I get a handle on them. And sometimes I'm just a little bit shooting from the hip, and you see a guy a couple times and you develop an opinion about him, and that's the opinion. It's very funny that the listeners of this podcast, because they're not in this business, I am like barely employed once in a while. And to the people that I work with, they're like, "You're always working. What's going on? How's that possible?" And it feels very funny that the listeners are like, "Is Mike okay? Like, is he ever going to get a job again?" That's a little bit how my parents treat it also. So that's nice that you guys care. But I do watch a lot of basketball. I do have a lot of opinions. And I like the archetypes of guys that I like. So if people tend to fit in those kinds of archetypes, then I will gravitate towards them. But then sometimes you're wrong, which I have been many times.
And as far as his point about drafting 19-year-olds versus 23-year-olds.
Yes. There's just a different time. I think it's a context thing, especially like, when you're the first 3 or 4 picks in the draft and there's like real like juicy star potential there, then you go like, okay, it doesn't really matter. You're probably going to take a 19-year-old. Fine. But when you're in that like middle ground, like the difference between a Jaden Springer type or in this class, it's like if somebody falls like a Isaiah Collier or a Ron Holland versus like who's like 18, 19 years old. And then you're like, well, maybe they can contribute. We could get them low. Like the star potential is higher, but the role player contributing potential, at least to a contending team, is a lot lower than if you were to get a guy like Dalton Connect or Devin Carter or Tristan da Silva, that's just the calculus that you have to make. It's a tough call. Like, there's not a right pick between those two guys, between those two types of players. Of like, okay, this freshman who we think could be a big upside versus this junior or senior who could maybe step in right away. And we could have him in their prime from like their 22 to 26 type area. With where the Sixers are now, I would rather gamble on an older player that has instant role player potential. But if the right guy falls, I think you do take it. I mean, that's what happened with Maxey, right? Like, Maxey was a freshman who fell, who was undervalued by a lot. And there was a good Dan Ollinger article on the site about like what Daryl's drafting patterns have been.
Yep.
And what he tends to look for. And it was basically, I thought made the smart point that it's like, Daryl basically, if a guy is falling, Daryl's going to take him. If he's falling more than consensus had him at, he's going to take him. But I tend to like, if there's not the right kind of fit there, I just like getting a junior or senior that's just like a good basketball player that knows how to fit and knows how to play a role that's going to help on both ends. I really want a guy on both ends. I have a tough time. We're going to get into some draft content, I'm sure, over the next week or so. But like, I would really like a guy that is not a total liability on one end.
By the way, as far as draft content, you mentioned Dan Ollinger. You should go to rightstoRickySanchez.com, tap on the subscribe button so you can get all of Dan's stuff. Dan will be writing some draft stuff. And Dan, along with one of his scout friends, is going to do like a 45-minute who the Sixers could take pod for us. They're going to do one, and we'll put it out on the feed for everyone to listen to it. Because I know you haven't been able to dive in like you normally have.
No, that's a bummer.
Ollinger is like just fucking,
he's locked in.
He's doing shit on our YouTube channel with prospects and stuff. He's a fucking machine. So that'll be coming, for a guy that'll probably never play for us. But still, it's there anyway.
I think they're keeping the pick. I think they're making the pick.
Well, they will make the pick, I think. But who knows if that player will be here or not.
Yeah. I think often the thing I didn't say is like when people take when good teams take an 18 or 19-year-old, they go like, well, this guy can be like a piece for us in the future. In like a trade situation, we can make his value interesting. But usually it's like if a guy at that age, this is what happened to Springer, if a guy at that age doesn't contribute by his second year, then teams are looking at that guy going like, well, he's not that good. If he's not succeeding at such a high level in the G League or at Summer League or whatever, it's just like, well, it's not that good. So that value, and that's what happened with Springer. Of like, they tried to boost his value. They waited a little bit long. They got a second rounder for him. He barely played. He just didn't develop quickly enough to be useful. I still think he could be a useful player. It's why I look at the guys that they just worked out, Jared Culver, Stanley Johnson. They're in their prime right now. Like, they're in their prime. They're wings in their prime. Are they that good? Are they as good as they were potentially going to be when they were drafted that high, both in the top 10? Absolutely not. But you take a shot on a guy with the body in his prime, and that he's gotten better over those years and has a sense of what it's going to take to be a role player at the NBA level. That's what happened with PJ Tucker.
Honestly, you're in your prime. I'm
in my prime. I got a playoff game in a week.
Yep.
That's why I'm missing the goddamn draft. Because I'm out here grinding, putting out good tape for scouts to see.
I play like this. I don't play like that. When I play, I'm pretty intense.
Mike playing basketball.
I'm in my prime. Honestly,
sign me.
There it is. All right. We will talk to you this weekend. It's awfully quiet in Sixers land right now.
It is a little bit.
Rumor-wise.
It is a little bit.
Isn't it awfully quiet?
Yeah. Somebody at work asked if I knew Tommy.
Alter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
I said,
you don't
I've
know
never
him,
met
right?
him, but he doesn't like me.
Yeah, he doesn't like us, does not like what we stand for, has told other media members that. So,
yeah. And I get it if I'm him. I just don't know what he does or why he's here. That's it. I think I have a simple question and I want to know an answer for it. And I know why he doesn't like me because of it, but I would just like an answer.
Do you think two things? Do you think A, if JJ Redick is signed to be Lakers coach, which looks like it's happening now, A, will Tommy Alter get a job with the Lakers? And then B, if he doesn't get a job with the Lakers, or even if he does, do you think JJ keeps up his podcast any of his podcasting while he's the coach of the Lakers.
I don't think JJ is going to keep it up. I think he's going to take it very seriously, and he's going to start to look very old very fast.
Yes. Yep. It happens.
And I think Tommy
age.
is going to latch on to another player's podcast. Maybe he does a podcast with like Sue Bird or something like that. Like he's going to find somebody else, and he's just going to be like, he's still here. You can't keep him away because he's doing it. I don't know why he's doing it, and I don't know what his credentials are for doing it, but he's doing it, and he's wearing those hats, and he's wearing those kinds of shirts, and he's standing a certain way, and he's making that face, and you can't stop him from doing that. And what I just want to know is why and where did he come from and why is he here? That's all. I think it's a simple question. I think it's fair.
I think it's fair. Fair for you to ask. Absolutely.
Haven't gotten an answer.
We will talk to you this weekend. Are you done with TTP?
Yeah, Lick Face.